Dads. I'm your host, Breezey Clark. Today we are talking about the trendy paleo diet. Our studio guest today is Issac Dickey. Welcome, Issac.
Thanks, Breezey. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you, Issac. He is a grad student in the kinesiology department, and he has been following the paleo diet for 2 years now.
That's right.
Now, Issac, tell us a little bit about the paleo diet. I'm familiar with it as far as knowing that it's a simplified way of eating, and it dates back to the caveman era. Is that correct?
That's pretty close. Caveman, they do call it the caveman diet, but
Okay.
dating back, looking at about 2.5, 2.6 million years ago, which was the Paleo era. The Paleo era lasted from about 2.6 million years ago till just about 20,000 years ago. And basically the Paleo diet is a diet composed of mostly all raw vegetation, nothing artificial, nothing non-grass fed, nothing that's not cage-free, things like that. Anything you would have found 2.6 million years ago lying on the ground, growing out of the ground, animal meats, things like that is all that a Paleolithic person had to eat.
Right, so anything basically that was available to them during that time.
Right.
Well, according to USA Today, they said that Fred Flintstone may have been onto something with this diet, and that could possibly be why it's popular now. It's just a simplified way of eating, is that right?
That's right. I envision him with the rack of ribs on the side of the
And
car there.
that's Fred Flintstone, and they did a lot of hunter-gatherer
Right.
eating in that day.
Sure.
And so that's, more or less, that's what we're doing now. We have a few more resources than they must have
Sure.
had.
I don't think they had the nut seed meat drive-through window.
No, I doubt they had that back then.
But
So tell me a little bit about the 2 years that you've been following this diet. It's obviously worked well for you. Was there a certain reason that you started following it, or did you just become interested in that way of eating?
did a lot of research on it. I had a friend that was really big into clean type nutrition. He was a college athlete, and I got really big into the whole ketosis, staying in a catabolic state for the body, meaning that muscles not burning or eating itself. It's recovering or regaining. But I did a little research on the paleo diet and found, as I got on it, about 2 weeks into it, that I felt a lot better, had a lot more energy, was having a lot better sleep patterns, more consistent sleep patterns, and just felt a lot better. Felt really clean, if you will. Body didn't feel junky or didn't have anything slowing me down. I found that things like carbonated beverages and greasy type foods, things that were definitely
Big part of the American diet these days.
yeah, you bet. Definitely had to give up the cheeseburger and things like that, but
But you didn't really feel like you were giving anything up because the way you felt was worth the changes?
absolutely. I mean,
Well, and this kind of goes along with your lifestyle. You are certified level 1 CrossFit instructor, and you got that certification about a year ago.
Mhm.
And you do Texan Fit at the Rec Sports Center on the
right.
Tarleton campus.
Yes, ma'am.
So that kind of goes hand in hand with the paleo diet,
Absolutely.
the CrossFit lifestyle.
Yeah. You'll see a lot of the CrossFit athletes, the people that you see at the games. If you've watched the games on ESPN2, a lot of the athletes will follow a paleo type diet or a zone type diet, if you will, which is very similar to the paleo diet, but allows a few more foods on the diet.
Less restrictions.
Right.
I see. Well, in the CrossFit and the paleo diet, like that's obviously very much of a lifestyle.
Mhm.
And you are a graduate student in the kinesiology department.
Right.
And so what do you see yourself doing along with the paleo and CrossFit? Is that something that you're gearing towards in your future to be possibly continuing on with your CrossFit
Yes.
instruction once you
Yes.
graduate?
Yes, and I do tell everyone what works for me. The paleo diet has worked for me, and I have faith that it would work for anyone and that it is for anyone. But I'm not a nutritionist, so obviously
Right.
I can't prescribe a nutrition plan for you. But
But in your opinion, it's something that is reasonable that anyone
Absolutely.
could, because you're basically just simplifying your diet, kind of getting back to the basics of it all. And what would you say that you eat on a daily basis? Does that get old, the routine of
No.
simplified, or you just enjoy it?
No, absolutely not. We have, I guess, what we call the civilized caveman, and you can always do things, changing it up, using a different food source than you did last time. It never gets old because the options are endless. I mean, if you go to the produce in the grocery store, there's all kinds of different produce that you can use, and I mean, meat wise, there's tons of different meats you can use, and sticking with, it doesn't really matter. I mean, red meat, pork, chicken, fish, all of these are paleo friendly and can be eaten.
So all those meat eaters out there don't have anything to worry about.
You bet.
Well,
Absolutely.
that's great. That's great, because I know that is something that's hard for people to transition away from.
Right.
A lot of diets will say to eat more chicken and fish and stay away from steak and pork and things like that,
Right.
that most people do enjoy. What would you say would be the biggest challenge for people starting a paleo diet? Maybe some tips that would help them get going?
Well, like you said, there are a few restrictions. Obviously, grain is not a part of the paleo diet, and reason being is that in the paleo times, agriculture had not been founded yet. We didn't grow things. Everything was wild. It was there or it wasn't there. We didn't grow things, so we didn't have grains. We didn't have beans, corn. Didn't have any of those things. We obviously didn't inject animals with
No.
with things that we do now. So didn't have any of those things to worry about. And what's interesting about it is that scientists that have actually studied Paleolithic bones or fossils that have been found have come to find that they had no chronic diseases. They had no high blood pressure, hypertension. They had no
A lot of the illnesses that we face today.
right, bone issues. Didn't have any people with weak bones or osteoporosis, anything like that. And so I think that's an interesting draw between with the paleo diet and finding out that is there significance between what we eat and diseases that cause today, diabetes.
And how we feel and
Right.
all of that. It all goes hand in hand.
Right.
You're right. Well, that's great. So as far as the paleo diet, it sounds simple enough. So simple a caveman can do it, so I don't see why we can't.
You got it.
And it's something that a lot of people are following these days. Is it getting more popular, would you say?
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit more well known?
Yeah, well, and I think a lot of people are coming to the realization that grass-fed meats are better, grass-fed butter, things that they're realizing that it really does make a difference in how
That
you
there's
feel.
an actual difference there. It's not just a label on a product that
Exactly.
you buy in a store. Because
Exactly.
I think that is a misconception that people have, that buying organic, can be more expensive, a little bit more costly, but worth it when it comes to your health and your lifestyle.
Yeah, especially when you care about what's going into your body. I mean, if you do care that what's been put on the food or in the food that you're eating, it's a big deal to a lot of people. So they want to know that whatever this is that was raised without the use of anything artificial or something that could harm me in the future.
Right. Well, that is fascinating, and I hope that more people become educated about the foods that they're eating, the lifestyles that they're keeping, because that is important, and just to keep that in mind, that the quality of your food does affect the quality of your life.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, it has been a pleasure having you here today, Isaac, and I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thanks for having me, Breezy.
Thank you. Life Vibes has been a product of Texan News Service. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And until next time, keep the good vibes rolling.